Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I've been saving hundreds of dollars per month on my fuel cost and what all has gone into that by making one permanent or temporary decision depending on what I'm going to do and what you might do. So we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So you might be asking, Daniel, how are you saving that much money? How is this possible? What are you doing? Is this some type of scheme? Are you doing something illegal, something crazy, something, whatever? What's really going on? Well, what I had was a situation where I was hearing a noise on my truck. This all came from a major problem, a situation where it was trying to sideline me, basically. And what happened was my my four-wheel drive system was having some problems. It was having some issues, and my mechanic, who was looking at it, because some of these things are just above my pay grade. There's still a lot of things that are above my pay grade. He said, "Hey, your front drive shaft is having some issues. The U-joints and whatever the piece is between the two U-joints on the axle side rather than the transfer case side, I believe it's having some problems. So here's what we can do. You can pay us $200+ to then outsource it to somebody else to fix it, and then we'll put it back in and install it, and you'll have to wait." This was a Friday. "You'll have to wait till that next Monday or possibly Tuesday to get it taken care of." So I was like, "Oh man, what other options do I have? Am I stuck? Can I even drive it?" And he said, "Oh, we can just take out all 8 bolts, 4 bolts and 4 bolts, completely take it off, and you can drive without your front drive shaft." And I'm like, "I can? That's pretty crazy. Is it sealed? I don't even know. It didn't even occur to me. It's a sealed system. There's no fluid going to be coming out. There's no other issues like on the rear drive shaft that fluid would be coming out. I've already gone through that and experienced that when my rear drive shaft had issues. But my front drive shaft, it's sealed, it's closed, and I can drive without it on my Ram 6.7 dually 2012 truck." And so I thought, okay, well, I can get away with it. Do I have to put it back in soon? Can I wait to get it replaced? He said, "Oh yeah, you can have this done anytime you want. Some people take out their front drive shaft and drive without it during the warmer months when they don't need the four-wheel drive, and then put it back on when they go into wintertime." And he was like, "Yeah, you can save some fuel economy that way. I think even Ram even admits you can at least get like half an MPG or maybe one whole MPG. I think I've had a few people tell me that recently, and I was like, dude, I don't plan on getting myself into sticky situations, and if I do, I'm probably just going to need somebody else to pull me out anyways, whether it's with my dumpster rental business or I don't plan on being in a situation where I would even need that out on the highway with RV transport." So I thought, wow, let's do it. Let's try it out. If for whatever reason I can just put it back in when I need to at my convenience, I'll pay the extra couple $100 to do it and get it back on there. So they took it off. They literally within, I think, 15 minutes or so, and then they called me and said, "Hey, it's ready to be picked up. We got all 8 bolts in a little box in your cab, and then the front drive shaft is in your bed." I was like, okay, cool. So since then, and I'm going to share all my numbers with you, since then, I have seen a major increase, not just half an MPG, not just 1 MPG, more than that. So let's go ahead and get right into the numbers. So to begin with, we're going to start with the before. So before I removed my front drive shaft, how my truck has been for several years now, and as this part has increasingly gotten closer and closer to failure, where I was having clicking noises and other issues with it, whether I was in four-wheel drive or not, it's always spinning on my truck. So before I removed my front drive shaft, my unloaded and loaded MPG. Now, as we all know, the weather, whether we are pulling something, how heavy are we pulling, what are we pulling, fifth wheel, travel trailer, many other factors that go into this. I'm going to give you my range. Now, this range might be different from yours. It might be very close to yours. This is my range, what I see on my dash, what my truck says. Of course, it's a disclaimer. That's not actually accurate to the 10th of a MPG or something. I'm sharing with you what my gauge cluster says, with the understanding already that it's probably less than whatever it says. But I'm just telling you, these are the differences, or we're going to talk through it. This is going to be the difference between where I was at and what I'm at now. So to begin with, before, when this was installed and causing lots of issues and binding up and all that, unloaded, my range was usually between about 16 to maybe 17.5, we'll say, MPG. So that's unloaded miles per gallon. Now loaded. When I was loaded, whether it was a little single axle travel trailer that's, I mean, I could just about put it in the bed of my truck. My buddy and I, we call it a Twinkie, one of those little small dinky trailers, or a massive travel trailer, you know, the 40-foot ridiculous park models, the resident models, you know, one of those, or a fifth wheel, which is probably in between, no matter how big it is, because it probably gets slightly better fuel economy for the aerodynamics. So loaded, I was seeing between, we'll say 9.0 and maybe 10.5, we'll say. Forgive my handwriting. MPG. Okay, so 16 to 17.5 unloaded, and then 9 to maybe 10.5 MPG loaded. Regardless of whatever I was pulling, it's almost, I don't know, 90% of the time it was going to be in this range, unloaded and loaded, before I disconnected and removed my front drive shaft. So now we're going to go to the after for the fuel economy, then we'll compare them and then talk through further. So now we're going to piece together the after I remove the front drive shaft, my unloaded and loaded. Starting with the unloaded, my bottom for unloaded with weather, wind, rain. I've not gone through a winter yet, which I don't plan on, me personally. I plan on installing it. So far, my unloaded for the last couple months now, it's been 2-3 months now, I have been seeing a 17 to almost at the highest, with a tailwind unloaded, a regular speed. I'm not changing how I'm driving and those habits. It's still the same. I'm seeing about 19.5 MPG. So 17 to 19.5 range, and that's with drastic weather to perfect weather, just about. Now loaded, I'm now seeing, from where I was before, I am now seeing about okay, so unloaded is 17 to 19.5, and now loaded is jumped up to 11.5 to about 13, if you can read that, MPG. So these are pretty wild numbers. Nothing else major has been done. I did do an oil change more recently, but I was seeing these numbers before that. So we're now going to compare the two. We're going to see the difference, and then we're going to add that up for fuel. I'm going to average my loaded and unloaded, I'm sorry, unloaded and loaded numbers. I'm going to piece that all together, and we're going to walk this through for how I'm saving all this money. So real quick, just want to look at the MPG increase average, which the after is 15.375 combined average for loaded and unloaded, and then before 13.25 combined average. So what's the difference? The difference is 2.125. So on average, this is the increase in fuel economy every mile, every time I'm taking a load. On average, between the loaded and unloaded, this is the number. So 2.125 is the increase just by taking off my front drive shaft for the four-wheel drive system. So for me, a average month would be about 5,400 miles loaded and unloaded total. So this is a total amount. I'm not doing as many loads with my dumpster rental business. So 5,400 is a good number for me. For a total number, we found the 13.25 number average MPG for loaded and unloaded. That was beforehand. We found out that we have a 2.125 fuel economy increase based on those other numbers, and we now need to find the gallons. So how many gallons does it actually take for me to go 5,400 miles for the combined average for 13.25? That number is going to be 400, if I can write, 407 point, I'm going to go 2 digits here, 0.54, if you can read that. So it takes me 407 gallons and 0.54, a half gallon, to go 5,400 total loaded and unloaded miles. So half of that is loaded, half of that is unloaded. So we're at 407.54. Now we need to find out with that 2 MPG increase what the difference is, and how many less gallons, and then times that by the cost of a gallon of diesel. So we'll go ahead and get right into that too. So now that I'm factoring in the 2.125 fuel average increase, the MPG increase at the same miles here, we're now going to find out how many gallons it takes with this higher average MPG. That average MPG is going to be 351 gallons, 0.21, if you can read that. So it takes that many it takes that many gallons at 15.375. Now we're going to take that previous higher number of gallons at the lower average MPG and then subtract it and see how many gallons total, and then take that times the $6 a gallon is what I'm going to take it at, because that's basically where we're at now. I'm assuming it's only going to get higher from here. So $6 a gallon times the difference between that previous gallon and then this one right here. All right, so we're going to be looking at the gallon difference between the previous lower MPG that took 407 and some change gallons to go that 5,400 total miles. And then now at the higher average MPG, we're looking at 351.21 gallons. That equates to a 56.33 gallon difference as far as that MPG increase. So we're now going to take, I know it's taken a while, we're now going to take 56.33 times $6 a gallon and see what we get as far as fuel savings for me, for this example, 5,400 total miles in 1 month, to see how much money I'm truly saving from my old front drive shaft situation to post drive shaft situation. So let's recap before we get into this final number here, which really matters to us. We've taken our average MPG for loaded unloaded, combined that because I'm 50-50, no backhauls. We took that average. We find out how many gallons that actually turned into to get to my 5,400 mile number. we've taken the difference now in gallons between where I was and where I am now with the 2.125 increase in fuel economy overall. And then we're going to times that with this difference in gallons times $6 per gallon. So the grand total is 337, that's a weird 7, in 98 cents. So could you deal with an extra $337, $98 not being taken out of your check, being taken out of your pay as a commercial driver? This is my situation. This does not mean this will be your situation. Obviously, if you don't have four-wheel drive, this doesn't matter to you. But I would say largely most people have a front drive shaft. They have four-wheel drive. The question is, are you willing to give this up for this type of savings? Not saying this is exactly going to be your situation. Remember, my parts were failing. So under normal circumstances with the U-joints and everything working properly, it may not be this drastic of a difference for fuel economy, for gallons, and then total price difference. It may be half as much of a deal to you as it was to me for this situation. For me, this is really what I'm looking at. Unless I've done something wrong here, which I'm totally capable of doing that, this is where I'm at. These are the savings I'm looking at per month, and that's at 5,400 miles. For many of you, you're probably doing more than that. I'm doing half as much as I used to do. I used to do roughly 7, 8, 9,000 miles, maybe, I think more. I can't even remember. It's been so long. This is at 5,400 miles total, loaded and unloaded. This is big money right now. For me, that's huge. Obviously, the price per gallon for diesel going up and up, it's only going to mean more and more as this number rises. So you got to ask yourself the question, is your four-wheel drive, is having your front drive shaft during the summertime when maybe you don't need it as often, you may not need it at all. Honestly, unless you get yourself into a pickle, you're in the muddy yards or something, it may not be worth it to do it for this. If you get stuck and have to get a tow bill or have some type of an issue like that, maybe this isn't worth it. To me, I'm not going to allow myself to be in a position where I would have to have this. At some point, yeah, I'm going to, in 1 month, this is going to pay me even more, pay for this to be actually replaced, not the whole thing, the parts that need to be replaced on it. And I plan on keeping this in my bed or somewhere in my truck with the bolts. It's 8 bolts. I can bolt it up myself if I really needed to and take care of business. 8 bolts doesn't take that long. It's not that big of a deal. And to me, it's well worth it to have this off. It was convenient for me because it wasn't functioning right to begin with for this whole thing that came about. So you might not see the same results I am seeing at this degree right here with my averages, with my numbers and everything. Fuel prices are going to change. Hopefully they go down, and hopefully it goes down and this number goes down for the right reason. I'm just sharing with you my situation, what I'm going through. This is my number. Hopefully this was a help to you. Let me know down in the comments below if I'm an idiot, if you would see even a bigger increase, if you've already seen this, if you've done this yourself. How long have you known about a front drive shaft really sucking the life out of your fuel economy? Would you see that big of a difference? Have you already been doing this for some time and it's just common knowledge? I got to tell you, it wasn't common knowledge to me. I guess, go figure, yeah, the less moving parts and places where you're sending power to, the less the engine has to work, the better fuel economy, go figure. But to me, it was not common knowledge. Just that, of course you would take it off. I don't hear people talking about that. So I'm now talking about it. and I'm going to do it whether I have a well, not non-functioning or functioning one in the coming years. I plan on taking this off right after wintertime, every time. Maybe I would leave it off during winter as well. Probably not. I do want to make sure I have the ability to have four-wheel drive, especially if I'm going to be plowing with my truck and stuff. But anyways, hopefully this was a help to you. Let me know down in the comments below. This took a lot of effort and time. Hit the like button for me. Share it if it could be a help to somebody else. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully you have a great day. Stay safe, guys. God bless.